14 men accused of looting 2 billion rand from the now-defunct VBS Mutual Bank will appear in the Pretoria High Court today, where a trial date is expected to be decided. The group includes former executives and politicians who are facing charges relating to organized crime, theft, racketeering and corruption. The National Prosecuting Authority brought the charges after the completion of the 2018 Great Bank Heist report, which was compiled by Advocate Terry Mudau, detailing the extent of the looting of pensioners' deposits and Stokvel savings. With the trial now expected to officially be placed on the court roll, lawyers representing some of the accused are questioning why the case is being heard in Pretoria and not in Limpopo. Newsroom Africa's senior politics reporter Ziyanda Ngcobo is tracking the developments for us on this story. She joins us live now. Ziyanda, a very good morning to you. So that particular question raised in that introduction about why the case is being held in Pretoria as opposed to Limpopo, where the actual crime understandably would have been committed. Have you had any responses yet as to why the lawyers of the accused are questioning that particular aspect?
Well, Koli, these are part of the issues that are expected to be dealt with during the pre-trial, conference, which is what's going to take place today. And of course, there have been pre-trial issues that have been dealt with leading up to today's court appearance. And you'll recall, Koli, that this matter was previously at the Specialized Commercial Crimes Court sitting in Palm Ridge, where afterwards there would be scores of supporters coming to show solidarity with Limpopo ANC Treasurer Danny Msiza, and that's also where they raised the issue of why this particular matter is being heard here in Pretoria and not in Limpopo, where actually some of those who took to the podium, it was in March actually, Koli, where they claimed that the reason why this matter is being heard in Pretoria is because they believe that there is some sort of an effort by the NPA to make this particular case a spectacle somewhat, and we know, Koli, that there is a lot of political implications, I should say, to this particular matter. For an example, you have Danny Msiza, as I've already mentioned, who is the treasurer in Limpopo, who's been accused of using his political influence to actually put pressure on municipal officials, officials of VBS Bank, I should say, to release money to municipalities unduly so. And his argument, his supporters say that the reason why he is being implicated in this case is because he's actually standing to become chairman of the ANC in Limpopo. Of course, we also know that this particular matter has served as an indictment on the accounting profession, as we know that KPMG is one of those auditing firms that has been implicated in the looting of the VBS Bank. But equally so, Koli, the fact that this matter is likely now to officially be put on the court's roll and stand trial means that more names are likely to come up, and probably the masterminds behind this particular scheme, which saw 2 billion rands looted from VBS Mutual Bank, will come out. We already have one person who's turned state witness, that's Philip Trotter. He's the former CFO of VBS Bank, and we understand that he's actually been very key in actually unleashing information regarding how the scheme worked, as someone who was actually key in terms of manipulating the VBS accounting systems to allow for those monies to be released and to lie to the South African Reserve Bank and to KPMG, who had also a Sipho Mlaba who had been seconded there, and all participating in this financial scheme, Koli.
Yeah, Ziyanda, just as we wrap up this conversation, the man who compiled this report, Advocate Terry Mudau, said that he had referred this report also to the NPA for criminal and civil proceedings. I want to deal with the latter part, civil proceedings. Have we seen much of that? We know that the criminal proceedings is exactly what this is now in progress. Talk to us about civil proceedings, where monies now ought to be recouped.
Certainly, Xoli. In fact, we've also seen a movement in that regard. And in fact, one of the liquidators, Anush Ruplal, has actually filed a civil case against KPMG, totaling around 900 million rand. That's almost R1 billion, Xoli, trying to recover the funds. And the reason why Anush Ruplal has gone to KPMG is because KPMG was supposed to had a responsibility to have been auditing, the financials of the VBS Mutual Bank, and that didn't happen. Instead, their representative Sipho Mlaba was a part of the scheme, where he actually submitted an audit report in 2017 saying that the numbers had been represented in a fair and accountable manner. And it turned out that when Advocate Terry Mutau concluded his report, he found that not only was Sipho Mlaba getting kickbacks, but he was also key in actually manipulating the systems of VBS. Remember, Xoli, what actually happened here at VBS was that there were lies basically in the financial statements, where there was a creation of accounts to sort of balance out the numbers, when in fact there were actually no account holders. Instead, that money would go to some of the executives, some of the money would go to politicians. We know that the brother of Floyd Shivambu, the deputy president of the EFF, was also implicated in Advocate Terry Mutau's report. We know that Dudumyeni's name came up there, that money was allegedly sent to a Dudumyeni foundation, but of course Advocate Terry Mutau obviously concluded that that must have been the Jacob Zuma Foundation, which is of course chaired by Dudumyeni. And also some of the money then went to the executives and other business people who unduly benefited from this mutual bank. As I've already mentioned, that they lied to the South African Reserve Bank. They had an auditing firm like KPMG, which now is likely to pay back 900 million rand, all being a part of this. And so while these processes unfold, again, Xoli, the key thing here is, are we going to see the masterminds? Who are the key puppet masters who actually came up with this entire scheme, given the fact that actually the founders of VBS Mutual Bank have said on record, Xoli, that this is not what they envisaged VBS to be when they created the bank?